The worst thing that you can do is worry about being cringe.
We have a literal rock star.
Oh,
Stop
no.
it.
James Ortiz, known as Rocky in the movie Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling. Thumbs up.
You know, Hail Mary was one of the few times where I felt like 100% of me was invited to work. Rocky no like Subway. Too loud, too loud. Ryan's a dream. The director's a dream.
As if we couldn't love Ryan Gosling anymore.
The superpower inside of feeling alien is admitting that you might be an alien. I still don't even know if I fully identify as a puppeteer, even though that's what I do.
It's my bump. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Mud podcast. While others celebrate the wins,
We celebrate the mud. I'm Alex Cuman.
I'm Drew King. And today we have a literal rock star
Oh,
here
no.
with us for the
Stop
podcast.
it.
Oh,
Look what you did.
no.
You
We
did
have the
it.
incredible James Ortiz, who also recently is known as Rocky in the movie Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling.
Unbelievable.
Crazy,
We
right?
have Rocky.
Incredible.
We have Rocky.
Thumbs
up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
So
oh my
wild.
god. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god.
guys are so
That's the
cute.
first time I've heard
Guys,
you.
that was so gorgeously prepared. I can't get over that.
I mean-
that was so and you're watching the Disney Channel.
I know, right? Exactly.
And welcome to the show.
And welcome to the show. We
Hi.
come here for magic
We come here
last night.
because here they are.
It's the
They are.
best.
When she came on screen,
Yeah.
Drew just...
Yeah.
I'm sitting between Drew and Tim. Tim is cheering. Drew is snapping.
know.
Yes.
Last
That's
night.
sort of a
Everyone around us is-
barometer of like everybody's like emotional state. If nobody
Yeah.
cheers when Nicole Kidman shows up on
Yeah.
in that thing, then that's how we know
That the-
we're done for.
completely
That the
agree.
That's
energy in the
end.
room is...
Yeah. That's how
Yes.
you know.
A true
Is it yay
thumbs
or
down.
It is
nay?
extraordinary.
Yeah.
And it was innate. We were the only ones that cheered, and people were like looking over their
No,
No,
shoulders.
but
like,
people were
Ooh.
laughing.
They were
People
laughing. Yeah.
People were having a
we were
good
also
time.
maybe a little
So high.
Fully
Stoned.
sober. Yeah.
fully
Which was
sober.
so fun. I forgot what it's like to like get high and go to the movies. I feel like that's
Oh,
such a quintessential like
Yeah.
experience
Oh
that
yeah.
I just haven't, you do it in like high school and
Yeah.
like it was just so
Yeah, totally
fun.
only in high school.
Totally only in high school.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah, me
definitely
too.
not-
But
yeah,
especially
yeah,
for
yeah.
a space movie.
I know.
Like,
I know.
oh my god. And those graphics, it's so beautiful and cinematic.
Wait, did
and
you
you're
see
like,
it in IMAX or did you see it in a normal?
We saw it regular
Last
because
night was
That's
normal.
okay. That's great. We'll say the IMAX is the best version.
I saw
because
the
it's
IMAX.
so like
I
it
would see
Yeah.
it
makes
again.
me cry. It really makes me cry.
It's
And I know what's going to happen, and I cry every time. I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so just to back up a tiny little bit, just
Okay,
so that
great.
everyone knows. I already introduced you as Rocky, but for those that do not know, James is an incredible actor, director, performer, lifelong puppeteer.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll kind of get into it, yeah.
Exactly.
Kind
And
of
you
found
have
me
this, like,
accident.
Deep, rich expertise in puppetry and in storytelling. But recently, you are starring in the movie Project Hail Mary opposite
right.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
It's like 3/4 of the movie is you and him,
Yeah.
which is insane.
No, it's crazy. I mean, the whole thing was so bizarre. We shot that about 2 years ago and some
Really?
change. Yeah, it took a
Okay.
second. As you
So
can
you had to
imagine,
sit
it
on
takes
it.
us- Oh, yeah. I was just sitting at home after somebody got elected, and there was not a lot happening in the theatrical industry for a couple of months, and I was just going like, like just ready to tell everybody, right?
Yeah.
No, it was wild. I mean, the audition process was completely bananas because it was like they wanted to find an actor that could puppeteer.
Mhm.
Long story short, Phil and Chris, the directors of the movie, they were putting out a casting call because they wanted it to be as practical as possible on
Mhm.
set. And I can confirm, Rocky is about 50% a real puppet on camera the entire time,
Okay.
which is crazy because our brains are used to seeing the animation.
Yeah, CGI
right?
and animation.
And what's crazy is it's basically me leading. I was always on the main body, the characters doing the thoughts and the thinking and the improv. And there was somewhere between like 4 and 6 other puppeteers on the limbs that I nicknamed the Rocketeers because I think that's
it's
funny.
unbelievable.
It is comedy.
What was deadly was the fact that most of them were so young they don't know the movie The Rocketeer.
Oh,
and that hurts.
They don't know
That's
Cliff.
upsetting.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
don't know.
That is
They don't
upsetting.
know
Jennifer
Jennifer's
Connelly?
eyebrows.
Oh my God.
Jennifer Connelly in that movie.
And,
Unbelievable.
what's
That's one
his
of my
name?
favorite. They don't know the gum.
The bad guy who's like suddenly a Nazi at the end. Fantastic.
They're always suddenly a Nazi.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. That's
Oh
great.
my God.
Original.
There's a battle on a Zeppelin at the end. You
Yeah.
go, yeah,
Right?
cool.
God, it's
The
so
Hollywood
The
sign?
Rocketeer, I
Hollywood
haven't seen that
Lands?
in so long.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
I'm
it's a
gonna watch
great
that movie.
It's a good hang.
Wait, so you're in? Could you show us?
How do we do it?
Could you show us physically?
Yes, I can. So basically, Rocky's about this tall in reality. On top, when he's standing on a table, he's about this tall. So his main body, there would be 2 handles coming either out of his butt or from the top of his head, depending on the shot. and we'd call it the fighter pilot. So I would basically operate his torso so he could have like bird-like head movement. So I was there, and then depending on where he was, if he was in a ball, it was a different thing. If he was standing on his side of the xenonite glass, it was a different setup. Every time you see him on camera, we shot him for real to be there. But every single, like if the camera was 3 inches that way, then we would literally have to reorient all of the rods and bend them all in different angles to make it just right. But basically, for the most part, if this helps, whenever he's rolling through the ship, they made a big empty plastic ball, and I just pushed it around the set, screaming my lines and knocking into shit. But whenever he would stop, we would stop everything. We would cut holes around where Rocky was standing on the floor, and the puppeteers would come out of the floor like trapdoors. And then they would put the ball
and they're
over
all
the
in
puppet.
like green.
We're all in like black. We look
Okay.
like the nuns from Dune, I've been saying. But basically, all of our rods are there, and the funny thing is that the creative team was like, yeah, it'll be great. You're going to be like Jim Henson and like well underneath it. And as I was practicing with the puppet for about 7 weeks before we started shooting, it was clear that when I did that, there was like almost no expression that I could get out of it. So I went, guys, I actually have to hold him almost to my chest and have these sort of fighter pilot handles right behind him. Wherever the camera is, the handles are on the opposite side of him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right? So basically, I'm sort of always hugging him and operating his body there, and my head is usually looking down over him. And then they digitally painted us all out. So they painted out the rods, they painted out the hands, they painted out me. There was a funny discussion one day where Paul Lambert, who is the VFX director from Dune, which is a crazy thing. Literally, Dune Part 2 came out while we were shooting.
I mean, we were
And we saw the
watching
trailer
the
for Part 3
trailer
last
for
night.
like
God, it's so exciting. Well, also, our DP, our director of photography, is Greg Fraser, and Greg Fraser did all the Dunes and just like a genius.
Wow.
But Paul, the VFX supervisor, looked at me one day and said, it's fine that you're standing behind Rocky, but we have to put you in like a wig cap because the amount of money it takes to remove each strand of hair is apparently crazy. So
Especially that
I
hair.
was like in wig prep, like looking like Norma Desmond and operating this puppet. Crazy. There was nothing about me that looked cool at all.
that's so cool though.
And
that you
it's
also were
also-
able to be like, actually, we have to do it this way.
We have to do it this way. I mean, it's also, I said 50% is a real puppet. The other half, when he's in a ball,
Mhm.
he's moving, there's no way to operate something inside of a moving, like a ship in a
Right.
bottle.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
Right.
Especially with so many people maneuvering so many different aspects
Really
of the
complicated.
puppet.
Right.
But it's worth saying, Frame Store, who I've been trying to shout out as much as possible, is the animation studio that did Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy and many
Wow.
other characters. And they took over for the digital side of Rocky, but they were told more than once by the directors, copy what James and his team did. So in a funny way, we gave them like hours, like 100 hours of reference footage.
And
where there's-
vocabulary and movement
Exactly.
vocabulary.
I mean, we actually played the whole scene like for the for the third or fourth time after the scene had been shot, and it was literally a mini puppet covered in dots with cameras everywhere, and we played the scene like basically doing this is how I would have played it as Rocky,
Mhm.
and then they took that footage and then they interpolated it into whatever would be best. But it was amazing when I finally saw the movie because there's no guarantee that any of my work would have been left in there.
Yeah.
It could have easily been that the directors changed their mind about how he looked, how he moved, all of it.
Yeah.
And when I saw the final cut, I went, oh, we did that on the reference puppet. We did
Yeah.
that. So much of it's really there.
Wow.
And also, there's a lot of improv.
Of
So
course.
my role was to basically, puppeteer on set. And that was part of the whole job, and maybe give some lines to Ryan. But pretty quickly, it turned into be his scene partner, which I was thrilled to do because he is spending so much time by himself in this film. And he shouldn't have to make up what Rocky is thinking and feeling. So basically, it turned into an improv game. So I was improvising everything with Ryan, and my other puppeteers were improvising whatever I was driving with them. So it was this like rubbing belly, patting head thing. Anyway,
Did you have to do any sort of follow-up, like patch-ins for vocals? You must have spent days
only
in
a
a voice
little bit.
studio.
Only a little bit. A lot of the audio is just from me on set.
Well, so wait, I think you told me this and confirmed that
Sure.
you were initially not supposed to be, or was
Yeah.
you being the voice? Was
Oh,
that
never that was the plan.
Yeah,
that was
tell
never
us-
the plan?
tell us
That's
that
I want to hear
story.
about this.
Oh my
yeah.
God. So it was crazy. So again, I was just the puppeteer on set. That was really, I think my contract still says on-set puppeteer. I think, and the final credits, it says lead puppeteer.
Okay, lead puppeteer.
Lead
I
puppeteer.
know,
Also,
it's
though,
whatever.
very cool to see your name. It was like
yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling,
and
I
then,
know.
No, it was
James
the woman.
Ortiz.
Yeah,
Sandra
she
James
was
Ortiz.
amazing.
She's
And
the
then you.
third one. She's incredible.
Well, that was a last-minute discovery, too, because, normally to sell the movie, you have to have a celebrity in every, When we wrapped, they started doing edits and started basically showing cuts to test audiences, which helped them cut. I mean, there's like a 4.5-hour version of the movie.
I would watch
wanna
the
see it so
absolute
bad.
shit
I know
out of
everybody
that.
says that, and I've seen versions of it, and you're like, it's great, and it's a lot more funny business between Ryan and I.
Yeah.
But basically, in each of those cuts, they just used the on-set audio, and occasionally I would get a text from like 3 a.m. LA time from Phil and Chris, the directors, going, "Can you say these 3 lines on your phone, and we'll plug it into the cut?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And we just kept doing that for a year.
Oh, wow.
And truly, about 7 months ago, I got a text from the directors that said, "Hey, we tried something that didn't work, and we would like for it to be you, and also we'd like for you to have third billing." And it was just truly,
I just got chills.
Which, by the way, like, they didn't need to do that. They liked what I did. That's great, but I'm still really moved by it. Normally, it's worth saying, Doug Jones, who's in all the Guillermo del Toro movies, has voiced one of his characters like once or twice. The guy who played C-3PO is the voice of Sight, but that's like it.
That's
so
it.
it never happens.
Yeah.
You do need
You
to
were
sell
so
the movie.
Perfect, though.
Thank
It's so
you.
hard. I do voiceover work.
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
It's so hard to get the emotion through, but we were so good at like the dry humor.
Oh,
like
good.
it was like it just like, and just all of it. It just was like it just worked. It worked so well.
That's really nice. I mean, it's also crazy because in the book, there's more of a sense that Grace learns Rocky's language pretty early in.
Yeah.
But we needed a different way to do it. So this idea of like the 3 laptops that are duct taped together. But they showed that to me like the 4th day in, and I went, well, Rocky probably shouldn't sound great if we're using this really bad
This
AI,
janky
whatever.
setup, yeah.
Right.
So it just turned into just me being annoying, and then it was just really fun,
I love it.
But I had a blast.
We will
It's
need, we
incredible.
will need you to answer one of these questions in the voice of Rocky.
Yeah,
Not
oh
a
my
problem.
God.
It's been coming up a lot. Well, it's crazy because I don't know about you guys. I mean, I have experience with improv, but not that much.
Yeah.
And most,
I'm amazed. I'm also, when you said it's mostly improvised
Crazy.
scenes, that's hard.
but when you
That is
improvise the
incredible.
same character for 6 months while we were shooting, you kind of
You just
he
become
doesn't
that.
he doesn't leave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's amazing is like someone will hand me a phone and go, "Can you say happy birthday?" And you're like, "Happy birthday!" Like it's already.
You should be on
too far
Cameo.
away.
Yeah.
Are you on Cameo
Yes,
as
I am.
Rocky?
Yes, I am.
1,000%
Yes, I
you
am.
should be.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so moved and like really.
We can go on forever. About that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm so moved to hear that like the team and Ryan and everybody else that was with you respected you and your work and everything that you had put into it, and that like kind of inevitably you became Rocky for them on set, which is incredible. And it kind of does like dovetail us. Is dovetail the right word?
Yeah,
Segue
I think
us
so, yeah. Either one,
into
yeah.
the topic of conversation, which is feeling alien,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Yeah.
apropos,
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to feel seen, or what does it feel like to not be seen? What does it feel like to be in? What does it feel like to be out? And so I think in a lot of this prep work we talked about, sometimes we feel alien and foreign within our
Yeah.
friendships, within our careers, within our work. And
Yeah.
you're someone who's had this like immaculate, incredible career, but it's not.
Immaculate is very kind.
I think it's immaculate.
My gosh.
Immaculate.
It's beautiful. The things
Please.
you've created are stunning.
It's very sweet.
They
I
really
want to
are.
hear. Can I before we jump in?
Do
could
it.
you talk a bit about what brought you to puppeteering and how you started in it?
I'm going to try to give you the most condensed answer because, my gosh, I could go on. I mean, I was of that generation that Julie Taymor, Jim Henson, but Julie Taymor, Lion King had a
Do you know Julie
chokehold on
Taymor?
me.
I don't.
The
The Lion
director and
King.
designer
Oh,
of The Lion
of
King
Lion
on
King.
Broadway.
Okay.
Incredible puppets.
Yes.
That
As
is
a kid, I was so like, but I can see the puppet, the idea that you could see the trickery happening, and it felt so old world and special. I loved that. But basically, I was a very shy, introverted little kid, and I was very painting, drawing, sculpting. I have 2 older brothers. We're all 5 years apart. And my 2 older brothers were like sports, cars, other things. I was the little messy thing with paint. And, but I loved fine art. And I also loved engineering, although I don't think I would have had the words for it then.
Mm-hmm.
And then around middle school, I found my voice in a theater class. And I went, oh. And the reason I bring all this up is because puppetry is the center of the Venn diagram of all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So in a funny way, I never had to pick one. You know, there is that sort of ever-pervasive capitalist feeling that you have to pick the thing that will make you the most money from a very young age and abandon all the other passions. You know, I think I kind of aced the system by sort of picking this thing. But it's worth saying, I loved puppetry, but what do you do with that information? Like, what do you, like, how do you make any sort of career out of it? And I went to an acting school. I went to SUNY Purchase, great program. I mean, truly like Shakespeare and Chekhov and crying in the woods for like 4 years. And, you know, you do all of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I graduated and I got an agent and I signed the contract. And as the ink was still wet, I won't say the agent's name, but as the ink was still wet, the agent said, listen, you're not going to work until you're 40. So good luck. And, you know, I did realize that there was a pivot that needed to happen. So I just started pursuing all of the other things that I knew I could do. And one of them happened to be puppetry. And I started making my own work. And I mean, the crazy thing is that I still don't even know if I fully identify as a puppeteer, even though that's what I do, just because I don't know if it encompasses it all. The crazy thing is that I've been afforded to work in really exciting rooms with really exciting people, opera, theater, Broadway, movies, because of this thing that, like, I don't know if this relates, but it felt a little too comfortable. It felt a little too easy, puppetry for me, that I sort of was avoiding it for most of my 20s. And then I sort of landed on it and went, oh, why am I fighting? You know? It just felt really natural. And I get to, again, pursue so many different avenues inside of the same medium.
Yeah.
Does that answer that question?
No, it does.
Yeah,
It
sure
1000% does.
Sure
And
does.
that's the, like, the spin on it is like you've had this, like I said, this like incredible career, but it isn't the Hollywood mainstream playing opposite Ryan Gosling. I think that's something we all struggle with our careers is like, how do you find yourself and your voice within your career, whatever it may be, your industry, but then also still be true to yourself without getting like pulled in by all the like, oh, well, I should be that, I should be that, I should be that. That pays the bills. I should have that many followers.
Yeah.
And
do you have answers for that?
I don't.
Like, do you have thoughts on how you have moved through that?
I'm moving through it.
Yeah, same.
Constantly.
Yeah.
I don't know if moving is the right verb.
Yeah.
I'm clawing my way through
But that's
it.
the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the shoulds and what we were talking about before about feeling alien in the. I have that experience sometimes with comedy where I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a real comedian. Like, I don't feel like I match with like
Say more about that.
Yeah.
Like when you get on stage, you usually have a set amount of time.
Yes, right.
And some people, like, if they're doing really well, they'll be like, oh, like I want to just keep going. I want to keep talking. I want to keep saying my opinion. And I'm like, no, like that's
You're
my
done.
time and I'm done. And
Well,
like I
also
want to
you
get
told
off.
a story, presumably.
Yeah,
And
and
the
I did
story's
my thing
over.
and I want to get
Yeah.
I want to get off stage.
Yeah.
And in my head, I've never had that like I gotta keep going up there and I still have this fear in me of being too much, being afraid to like say what my opinion is on a subject or feeling like I haven't fully formulated an opinion well enough to stand behind it.
Yeah.
And I just sometimes, even just in conversation with other comedians, I'm like, I don't have the same drive to do that, or I don't have the same like tinkering brain of like, man, all I want to do is get up and try this new idea and then get off stage and tinker with it until it's
hustle.
perfect.
That's a different kind of hustle.
And I just don't have that. And I want,
Sure.
there's a part of me that's like, I really want to have that.
Sure.
And then another part of me is like, to your point of like, it's been so hard for me to get to where I'm going. And I look around at the way that other comics have maybe, and again, this is me looking at their outside, you know.
I'm sure they're in the same struggle in a very different flavor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it looks easier for the way that I look at someone, I'll go, oh, so you just had that experience today and you went on stage and you just alchemized that into a joke. And all that took was just, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I need to like sit with a thing for like a month maybe.
I know.
And then maybe it's something. So just sometimes I feel like I'm like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, is this the right path for me?
No, I know. But also I think you're supposed to keep asking that, right?
Yeah.
I think so too.
You know, Like you're supposed to kind of keep questioning it because it's what you are asking yourself to do is nuts. I have a crazy idea, everybody. Shut up. This one's great.
It's out of control.
It's crazy. But I learned so much working on the film in a crazy way because it's my first film. It's worth saying that out loud.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, I mean, I'll never be as spoiled as I was on this thing because
you never know.
Well, we'll see.
Project Hail Mary 2.
Maybe you'll be
Electric Rockaloo.
Rocky are the
this time it's Rocky.
You're going to be the ship in Dune.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, I can't wait. I'll practice my Mongolian throat singing. But it's interesting because I am somebody that likes to prepare. I like rehearsal. I like it a lot, and I think theater has taught me that.
Yes.
And I think I'm. It's funny when I'm talking to other puppeteer people, they're like, James, you're really laid back by comparison to like the exacting formulaic creatures that are puppeteers, which I find fascinating because I feel like a psychopath. But what was amazing and strange and challenging on the film was you kind of didn't have the space to come in 1,000% done. Again, we had about 6 or 7 weeks with my puppeteers just to come up with, like you said, a vocabulary, come up with like how we would play together. And it was less about marking the scene, which you would do in any other form of puppetry. You would literally go, I'm going to go after this word, and that's your cue to do X, right? It just was never going to do that. So I had to figure out a way to be open and flexible and in a weird way, just trust myself. Which is the hardest thing to do.
Wow. The hardest thing to do. The trusting self. I think that's the thing I keep coming back to. And like,
because you don't have a barometer if it's working.
No. And I'm like, why is this hard? And it's like, oh, I know it's hard because
you're talking about you.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
No, it's good to hear. Like, it's good to hear.
No, it's true.
We talk about this kind of a lot on the podcast, but it's always helpful to hear. Even that even you're having those
oh my God.
feelings
I mean, it's like, I would be
because it scares me too, where I'm like, I've been doing this. And then I'm like, but am I enjoying it? Do I want to do it?
And also I have always found, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like if work is feeling tight or terse or I'm trying to achieve something inside of it, that's usually when I need to like take a break, run around town, make out with somebody. Like I just need to like do something else because otherwise it becomes so precious and your self-worth becomes tied into it that you just go like, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're making poo-poo jokes and like, we can do that.
Yeah.
But it's hard because, we have been programmed in a lot of ways. And I certainly have programmed myself to kind of go, the achievement of what the thing is, of what we're trying to aim for is the point.
Yes.
And how do you not? That's the really challenging thing.
Do you find, this is something that I found really fascinating when I made my Broadway debut compared to On the 20th Century with Christian Chenoweth.
Of course. Yes, absolutely.
2015,
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Did you see it?
I missed it, but David Rockwell was a set designer, and I've worked with him so many times, and I love him.
I am trying so hard to get David Rockwell to come on the podcast. I adore the fuck out of him.
Remind me, and I'll
oh my
bother
God,
him. He's
I
the
know.
best.
I might send him an email, or I'll ask you to ask him too.
No, I love him.
He's the best. He also designed Tootsie as well, and he's a set designer, but also set design is like his hobby that he's brilliant at.
He's a multi-million-dollar architect, so he does set design like for fun. So you walk into his firm and it's like they do every like beautiful nightclub,
like
whatever.
Tao, like Nobu, all the Nobu restaurants. Like he designs everything. But then like for a hobby is like, I'm just gonna like do this.
Tony winning.
Wow.
Extraordinary.
What's his name?
David Rockwell.
I was gonna say, people outside of the industry or outside the entertainment industry have a really hard time understanding the levels and the layers that get you to the commercially recognizable success benchmark.
Sure.
So, like, I mean, granted, my family was outrageously supportive. They were so loving. And when I was getting $5 a week at that random theater upstate New York doing summer stock cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, good for you. But it wasn't until the word Broadway was introduced that it was like, now they understand.
It's hard.
And do you feel like that has been like that for you as well when it comes to maybe your peers, probably not your peers because they get it, But like when you hit that, for you is probably like getting the Comedy Central
Comedy
stamp.
Central.
Yeah.
That was
And
it.
for you, it's the like
Yeah.
it's a film, and I'm starring
Yeah.
in film opposite Ryan Gosling.
But even
like,
then, it was so funny because I love my family very much, my parents and my brothers. But it was truly really hard to explain what I was doing. They're like, "Are you
Yeah.
in prosthetics? You said you're an alien, so we're going to see you." And it's like, no, it's a puppet. So in the movie, it's a
So you're
puppet of an
inside the
alien.
puppet?
It's like, no, there's no
No.
room for me. So it's like a suit. It like this would go on for months back and forth, and I would like send them like videos that I clearly never took on my phone.
yeah, you didn't send videos
I didn't
at
have
all.
those, but it still would be like really baffling. But I mean, you know, the folks that are supportive are the folks that are supportive. I find it more fascinating that there's still a sense of competition between artists. When you
Yes.
go like, but we're all
Yes.
doing something so different.
Yeah.
guys. Like it's this weird thing that is still pervasive that is also made up of nothing. It is about nothing because, you know, of course, the scarcity mindset, I get it. But it's this fascinating thing where you go like, you were never going to get that part because you don't look like the mom. Like you don't, you know, like it's
I know,
not,
Right.
I know.
it's not about
Right.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's really hard. But what was the question?
The
My
question, I mean,
God.
essentially, like when it comes to like the way that your work and your body of work has been received, do you feel foreign in your career?
I've definitely felt this a lot throughout the entirety of my existence, and especially in my career because, like I was saying earlier, I wear a lot of different hats and I do
Yeah.
a lot of different things. And, you know, Hail Mary was one of the few times, and also the first time that I really dabbled with puppetry, were the first times where I felt like 100% of me was invited to work, which is unusual because sometimes, in my weird experience, I mean, there was a period where I was the special effects makeup guy for every King Lear that was in town, and there was a period where I was only set designing, and there was a period where I was writing, and I've worn a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And, you know, you only are what you just did in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a funny thing to be expecting to be fully known and seen in your workplace, right? Because it's your workplace. I think it's hard to not get into this without talking way the hell back.
Yeah.
Because
Feel free.
you know, I was the little kid, like so many little on the road to queer boys that would, you know, watch a movie and go, but I think I'm the Wicked Witch. I don't think I'm Dorothy. You know, I don't think, and of course, like there's a long narrative of queer people identifying with the villains, but then you look at it, it's like, well, they're the ostracized ones. They're the ones that are outside of the plot but are driving the narrative. They're the ones who are the least cringily wanting something.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are the most passionate. And, you know, they might be isolationists, which can also come into our narrative in a big way. Actually, I should tell you this story.
Wow.
Yeah,
one of
that's
my
such a beautiful take, by the way, on I love a villain.
villains, yeah.
I do love a
I
villain.
mean, that's also, it's our first foray into like complicated characters,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
If you're on a steady diet of Disney as a kid, you sort of are going, I don't think I'm Ariel, but I do think I'm Sebastian. It was also a little, but this actually ties into other things.
Out of
and
the sea, honey.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But this ties into other things, and it might get us back to this question.
No, I
I'm
love
not
it.
sure. But one of my favorite movies growing up was Batman Forever. Okay,
With-
that's
Wait,
that's
that Michael
Jim
Keaton?
Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey. It's
As
Val
the
Kilmer,
Riddler.
the Riddler.
Oh, Val
So it's
Kilmer.
Val-
Oh my God,
I
the
know.
dirty dreams I had about
R.I.P..
Val Kilmer.
Still do.
Oh my
Still
God.
do.
Val
Still
Kilmer,
do.
Kim
Kim-
Basin.
Oh no,
No.
Val Kilmer, Nicole Kidman,
Nicole Kidman.
Chris O'Donnell, Robin.
Yep.
Tommy Lee Jones, Two-Face.
Oh,
Drew Barrymore has a cameo as
What?
one of Two-Face's girlfriends.
Yes.
because he has two.
Yes.
He has a good and a bad.
good and the bad
girlfriend.
one.
Oh my God.
Sugar and Spice. One of the reasons why I
LOL.
love it, and I'll zip through this because this is not the point.
No, I
of our
love it.
talk.
I love it. Keep going.
It came out in like '95. I was just at the right age for that, and I don't think I clocked then what I clocked now, which is it was the most queer thing I had ever seen in a mainstream story. Because ultimately,
Elaborate.
Jim Carrey's character is a bespectacled, wild-haired, mad scientist who's in love with Bruce Wayne, Batman.
Yeah.
There's literally pictures all over his cubicle,
right.
and he's in love with him. He tries to do a business thing with him. It doesn't go anywhere. He gets rejected. And the rest of the movie is Jim Carrey slowly becoming a rhinestoned drag queen who is like, and singing an Adele song, literally keys the Batmobile, literally breaks into his house, literally tries to destroy Batman for rejecting him. And while I didn't clock all of that messaging at that age, I certainly had when I was older. And really, really, really fun fact, because Ryan and I are actually not dissimilar in age. When you get a bunch of boys together, they're going to talk about their favorite Batmans. This happened one day at lunch, and I did this.
Yeah.
And he couldn't really understand it. Like most people shouldn't.
Okay, interesting.
Cool.
Surprised by that.
He's big team Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer, as most people should.
I mean,
Yeah.
she was
wonderful.
gorgeous.
She did that in one take.
She was
the whip
incredible.
scene.
It's the one take wonder.
It's extraordinary.
One scene.
Talk about somebody who's like so precise, because all of the way she talks about her work is very exacting.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But the reason I bring this up is because I brought this up to Ryan. He was like, cool. And that we sort of went back to work. The last week of shooting, I get a call to go over to the director's tent, and Ryan intercepts me and he goes, hi, I have this for you. He got me the wrap jacket that every crew member had from Batman Forever. It has an embroidered green question mark on the back. It says crew. It's from 95. It's made out of like pleather and dreams. Who knows?
Oh my God.
I've worn it all the time, and it's truly like, are you kidding?
As if we couldn't love Ryan Gosling anymore, by the way.
Everything that you know is true. He is the sweetest,
Is he the
loveliest,
greatest, man?
the kindest.
Oh my God.
He waits for you to, he's really listening. He waits for you to fully get everything out and then will very gently respond. He's the best.
Oh my God.
He's the best. He was the greatest scene partner that I may have for some time.
Oh my God.
You
That's
can
incredible.
tell. You can just tell.
You can tell.
that he's just
But also it's worth saying that he had to do so many hard things in this film. I mean, if it's not clear, he's on a wire most of the time, which takes hours to get wired into a thing. He's technically here. He's upside down.
When you're getting wired into, explain that.
A harness. So he's in a harness for every time we're in zero gravity. He's on a Peter Pan harness, or he's on something called a tuning fork, where it's basically the same idea. It's hooked to your hips so that you can rotate and spin.
And like
flip
spin.
around.
And
it's really cool, but it means like hours of getting into that. So we just knew early in that it's going to be really hard for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a conversation with the directors pretty early on, and I said, listen, I know I'm just here to puppeteer, but like if I can help be the scene partner in a real way, even in shots where the puppet's not there, like let me help. And Ryan was very open to that because he was craving like interaction. So I'm so grateful that he allowed me that space to like throw things his way that were not in the script, throw things his way that would surprise us, because film, as I learned, is more about creating surprises on camera as opposed to something that is exactly, precisely prepared.
Do you think that you would have offered something like that? Like when you offered, like, I would like to help in any way I can.
Yeah.
Would you have done that 15, 20 years ago? Or have you grown into the person that, like, when you said, I'm so happy that I was able to bring my whole self to this project?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're able to bring your whole self because you have gained the courage to do so? Or have you always been like that?
I have gained the courage to do so. It was never... Also, we've all been in different rooms where you kind of go, I think I'm only going to be allowed to give 30% in this space.
Yeah, correct.
And it's sometimes a protective thing. And it's sometimes also just going like, those folks over there need X, Y, and Z. And if I intercede, then I've taken that from them. So you do have to navigate, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that we were talking about on sort of the pre-chat was about imposter syndrome, which is really interesting because I keep grappling with this as a concept. I don't think I've ever experienced imposter syndrome technically. I have never walked into a room and felt like I didn't deserve to be in that room.
Interesting.
Which is unusual. I recognize that's odd. And and I can only attribute that to my family. There's a great Tina Fey quote. I think she was winning an award for something. And she said, I'd like to thank my parents for giving me confidence unequal to my skills and abilities. And you go, thanks. That's a great parent.
Yeah, that's a great parent.
But interestingly, I don't think I've ever felt like I was an imposter or undeserving of being in the space that I was already hired to be in. But I have felt like I just didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Which is a different thing, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have gone like, I wish, and I can sometimes beat myself up about the things I don't know. You know, like I wish that I knew that these group of people prefer to work this way. And if I knew that 3 weeks ago, then this would have been smoother. Do you know what I mean?
Did you always have...
Probably similar, but maybe not the same.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had like a strong sense of self or self-esteem or confidence as a kid in growing up? Because to me, that sounds like
in old...
under like, no, there's confidence there.
I think so. I mean, when you realize that you're kind of like, you look left and you look right and you don't see other people that are doing what you're doing, or you don't see other people that are responding to the things that you're responding to, even from a young age, you have sort of two choices. And I think I don't know if I consciously made that choice, but just sort of going, no, you're going to love this. Let me tell you the story, as opposed to sorry for existing. You know, which by the way, that's really common.
That's me. That's why I asked.
I understand that.
Like I very much suffer from imposter syndrome, and even right now, I don't know if you know this, but I've like stepped away from the biz, and I'm working a corporate job.
Good for you.
Thank you.
No, but that's good for you.
No,
because you have to know when you need to take a fucking break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But oh my God, my imposter syndrome every single day. I'm like,
really?
I'm terrible. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I'm a disaster. Everyone hates me. This is horrible. Blah, blah, blah.
Even when you have the evidence of,
even
like,
when I
when
have
you were
the
telling
validation,
me,
yeah.
like,
No, I know.
he's like every day he's like, I'm gonna get fired. Da, 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 da. And then
and then they'll be like, we're giving a shout out to Drew for blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay.
And the person that was like, the best decision this company's made was hiring Drew. Like all this
But
stuff.
making a choice to take in the compliment.
I am taking the
is really
compliments,
hard.
But that's
it's not easy.
I'm very dismissive of compliments, and I am learning to take them. Something I've been working on forever.
No, I know.
But it does take a lot to show up in a space as your whole self. But someone has to open the door in order to allow you to be your whole self. Because we've all been on contracts or we've all done jobs where people are like, we love you, we want to hire you. And then the second you start to bring any sort of your creativity, they're like, no, that doesn't fit within the box of what we need to put up on stage.
By the way, it's worth saying, every time I work with a new director, every single time, because I'm basically coming in asking them to believe in magic. You know, I'm asking them to literally go, you know, every time that a puppet exists in any show or any special effect exists in any show or movie, it's a prototype. It's never existed before.
Yeah.
Sure, we have our experience when we did something similar, and it would be easier if we made it out of this material or operated this way. But it's a leap of faith. You really have to sort of hold everybody's hand while they go, but when am I going to see that it works? And you're going to go, well, based on budget, time, schedule, reality, probably not until we're deep into rehearsal, unless we can figure out some other sort of pre-pro thing. So much of my experience inside of those spaces is sort of going, I mean, I'm basically like a gunslinger walking into every room, which is a crazy, if anybody could see me right now, but I am, because it's the Wild West. There's no union for anything that I do, straight up, not at all.
That's true.
And what that really means is I sort of have to advocate for myself and for the people that I'm hiring to operate puppets, to do whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of times I've sat in a general manager's office going, yes, but we need to make sure they have physical therapy. And they're like, but you make the puppet lighter. And you're like, I'm doing my best. Yeah. But it's an 8-show week and there's a lot of things. So in a funny way, I sort of have to start from zero every time that I walk into any space, which is a similar thing where all of those sort of brain gremlins are coming out at that moment anyway.
You get that.
And you just, you know, ultimately I think what's interesting is that I started as an actor. I went to an acting school, like I said, and I had a really hard time campaigning for me, but I had an easier time campaigning for my work. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It was easier.
I resonate with a couple things you said there. Like, starting from zero is how I feel every time I walk on stage.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not yet at the point. You know, I think when you get to a certain point of recognition within anything, people are like, oh, there's credibility. This person's gonna maybe
The second time I work with the director, they go, I got it, because by the time we got through the whole process, they saw the weird, like Cassandra of the Wells things I was warning them about by the end of the process.
Right.
I cut you off.
No, you're it's exactly it. It requires this level of confidence. Like you were saying, I am walking into a room and I am making people believe in magic.
Yeah.
And you have to be a confident magician. Like you can't be a magician and be like, is this your card?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. No, that's it. No, that's it.
Maybe.
That's it. Yeah.
I think there's something behind your ear.
Yeah, I would offer a different line reading in that moment.
There might be something in your butthole. Okay.
There it is. Yeah. But that may not be a magician.
Well,
yeah.
It was a long weekend.
But she has to smoke about it. Yeah. That lady. Oh, that
Just bump my
lady.
fist. Yeah. Fist my bum.
Fist my bum. Fist my bum. Yeah.
My bum. Exactly.
That moment where the puppet just like fist his bump.
Yeah.
We were like,
minds.
we were giggling.
There
that
was
so great.
Such a longer sequence of that that we shot.
I want to
see it.
Sure.
I want to see it
All
so
of
bad.
it's so silly. Yeah.
But
Fist my bump.
Yeah.
But like and it takes time to get there. Like it takes the way that I walk on stage now is different than the way I did when I first started, because I 100%. Put the reps in, and I generally know what I'm doing in all different types of rooms, but it still takes... I still get nervous before every show. I still get in my head about
100%.
Are they gonna? Is this? I was in Ohio doing shows, and are they gonna like the stuff that I have to say? Are they gonna like different areas, different crowds, different demographics? And it's the same anytime you walk into a room full of people you don't know, where you're like, I gotta make you believe in my magic.
Well, what's interesting is that it's the best way I have found to combat that awful brain gremlin is preparation. So, a good example that I can use for the film, I wasn't going to start shooting any scenes with Rocky for about a month in. Like, we had about a month of pre-pro that me and my puppeteers were taking to get acclimated. But every lunch, because we were still in the same soundstage, we were basically like a spit and a throw from the set wherever they were shooting. And for that first month, they were shooting all the scenes with Ryan with the beard, like him kind of lost on that spaceship. And I basically made it my business every lunch or every like long break we were taking, just go over to the set and just sit and just hang out and just meet everybody and figure out who was doing what, and, you know, the preparation that is necessary. I think sometimes we can often feel like we're not welcome in those spaces or whatever, but whatever you need to do to feel like you have a better sense of what's going to be expected of you. Because a lot of people don't even know how to communicate what your job will be. And sometimes you just have to go, I think this is what my job is.
Yeah.
You know?
Fully. And and removing all of the variables that you can.
Yeah.
That's what I always like when I'm going to a new place. I'm like, just look at the room.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be walking on stage?
Yeah.
What does it look like? Who are the points of contact? Like taking away as much mystery as you can.
It helps.
It really helps.
And I think also it can feel like a chore to ask the people that work there all those questions, because sometimes they just won't know what you're asking about. So sometimes just putting the legwork in and kind of being a creep can be useful. You know. That's my advice.
Yeah.
But that's just part of building the world and the environment in which you're operating, which I think then lends itself to, or makes like improving so much easier. It makes like, once you're more familiar with the space and you can live in that space, you're able to open up and free yourself even more.
That's completely right.
It's interesting, like the times that I've been on set when for me, 9 times out of 10, it's always been like as a principal dancer.
Yeah.
But like having the second that any one of the main lead, you know, first on the call sheet actors comes to the room of dancers and it's like, you guys are beautiful, you're doing a great job, like I love working with you all. Or like when like there was one time I had to dance with Rachel Brosnahan and Mrs. Maisel, and she was just so lovely and gracious.
I was the best man at her wedding.
Who are you? You're kidding me.
Yeah, I was the best man at her wedding. No, Rachel didn't go to Purchase. She's an NYU baby, but she married one of my close friends.
Okay,
actually, I just came from a birthday weekend, and I'm amazed I'm upright. But it was his birthday, so it was really great to see her. Yeah.
But just like case in point is that, like, you know, when you have actors or other people who are in the room, or even the crew people, the wardrobe, when you have everyone that's willing to show up and be like, hey, who are you? What do you do? How do I spend time with you? Let me acclimate myself. Because I've also been on cold sets where no one talks to anybody, and then you have to do your craft and it's awful.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comedians who are like that. Just a lot of cold, like
show up, get the job done,
save it for the stage, get like this is an individual game, like, and that's part of why I'm like, is this for me? Like, is this hardening me? Like,
I know.
This doesn't feel, you know, because it's such a difference. Because I've also worked, you know, you work with different people. You go, oh my God, look at how nice this person was.
Yeah, sure.
How welcoming. And then you work with someone else and you're like, wow, that is
different vibe.
Asshole.
Yeah. And you do have to figure out ways to, at that, you know, I was so fortunate because Ryan's a dream, the director's a dream, right? They wanted collaboration. They wanted to be engaged, and they were open to so much feedback and collaboration. And we've all been in those situations where that is not as welcome. And it is this delicate thing of going, this can't affect the final output of what I'm doing, which is a crazy thing because I don't know about you guys, but as a theater beast first, my barometer of when it's working is when the collaboration is happening, right? And if that's off the table, I would suddenly start tail spinning. And it's obviously the big question, but the way to get through it is to, you know, especially on this, it was interesting because since I knew there's going to be so much improv, I had so much like lore and info and stuff that I just had that I made up that I could pull from because we were improvising. You know, it would be different if it was just like a copy paste, you know, rehearse, rinse, repeat. But again, I can't say enough about how can your preparation help you as opposed to, or get you closer to choices that make you more centered. You know, sometimes you can be playing a character that like, well, it seems like they're a nervous wreck. And you're like, but I don't want to be a nervous wreck in this space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you protect yourself while still delivering the thing that's expected of you? Does that make any sense?
No, it absolutely does.
Because you do have to kind of like make choices for the job and also make choices for the sort of creative expression. And sometimes they may be in opposition.
But like, you've spent so much time living in fantasy, I guess I could say, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Is that like, you know, we met.
I'm not even here right now.
You are a magician.
Just disassociating wildly.
Hologram, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, you live a lot of your work and a lot of your craft is within fantasy, and it's very heightened. And also for as in comedy and in dance, like it's all interpretive and it's all expressive. Do you feel that like maybe, I don't know, living in with your creative brain and your creative spirit, living in this world that is so foreign and outside of the realm of our normalcy and reality, do you think that kind of creates like a little bit of a schism between like the way that you feel you operate with the world?
Oh
like,
my God. Yeah. I mean, do I disassociate wildly? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Party of two.
Kind of. But I mean, in a funny way, I feel so much more. Even in college, I was playing the creature and the king of the fairies, and
I love it. Yeah.
There was one show that we were doing, and it was going to be a very normal, you know, boots on the ground kind of play. And I was campaigning to try to be one of the parts in it because I had told the professor, "Listen, I would like to finally play a character where that would conceivably own shoes," because I was always like, you know, the metaphor or the ghost or the theme, and I was never the person. And I found out in college that I hated that. Like I don't want to wear shoes. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I find a funny kind of by stepping really far outside of, I'll put it this way. I think puppetry is a great example of this. It is the most outside in version of acting you can possibly do. You know, the outside in being, once I have the costume on, I know who my character is. Once I have the fake teeth, and I'm really playing the part.
Yeah.
And in a funny way, I am physically externalizing all of my choices as an actor. And why I even brought that up, I can't tell you now. But
just talking about like being for and outside of your life and living in these worlds of fantasy. And
I mean,
kind of the ways that
I feel more free working inside of a really heightened circumstance than I do necessarily playing a character that's me.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to kind of keep exploring why that is. That's probably a problem for my therapist, but
Tell me more about loving being the wind.
That is weirdly so much more comforting to me. But it's also, I think it speaks to the alienness in my nature, which is I don't think I ever identified with like the lifestyle that everybody else seemed to be chasing. You know, I never really was pursuing the, you know, it's that funny thing. I think to be a queer person is to be a questioner of the status quo in some way. And I think you do have to go, those are the structures that serve everybody, but it doesn't seem at any point those are serving me. So why am I paying fealty to them? And I think that's sort of the weird grapple. So oddly enough, playing the wind or whatever ends up getting me closer to a deeper emotional expression that maybe I would feel more bound up by if I was, I'm probably the only person in the world that feels this way, but I probably would feel more bound up by playing somebody who was in his early 40s with crazy wizard hair. You know? You know, the number of times that someone was like, I would love for you to play a puppeteer. And I was like, I don't know.
I don't think
play a puppeteer.
I don't know. I'm tired. Like, if you really want to see it, it's a lot of like drinking and sadness. Like, what do you want? You know?
Drinking and sadness, the life
together at last.
Of a puppeteer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because it's so existential, isn't it? You're really like playing something so outside of yourself. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, it's incredible though, and I think a lot of that, like, do you think that helped you? I mean, you're quite literally playing an alien in a movie. Yeah. Like, do you think that helped you with Rocky, with the character?
As somebody who, yes.
Yeah.
You know, as somebody who spent most of his life kind of not getting the joke that everybody else seemed to be getting very quickly. Mm-hmm. It felt like Rocky is some sort of younger version of me in a lot of ways. There's a fastidiousness and there's a precision and there's a lot of fear. I mean, one of the things that I was, only for the people that see it like 5 times that'll clock this, is that physically, because Rocky is coming from a traumatic experience before the story begins. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to spoil if you haven't seen it, but there's a traumatic experience that Rocky has experienced before the story begins. And physically, I was trying to make sure that we were tracking what that journey is in his body. So that as he forgives himself for the thing that he thinks is his fault, we slowly watch this character like physically melt into comfort, which is a small thing, but it tells so much of the story. I mean, there's so much of this sort of odd, it was amazing when I got that script. So many times when you see a script, I don't know about you guys, but you kind of go through it and you go, that's like me, and that's like me, and that's not like me, and that's like me. And on this one, it felt like there was a lot more me than there was anything else, which is crazy because I do have a face, And
you don't.
I'm not a
through
spider.
Your
well, you don't know that. Listen.
Speak for yourself.
Let's cut the cameras. But it was this funny thing of starting from the sort of feelings of it. One thing I've been saying a lot is the only way that it was possible to play that character was to not focus on his outsides, but focus on his insides. Because, interesting fact, we auditioned a bunch of other puppeteers to be my Rocketeers. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed was that, and this is a general statement, but a lot of the male identifying puppeteers that came in would play Rocky, heavy, Rocky, step, heavily footed. And every femme presenting puppeteer that came in found a delicacy. And that was how I wanted to approach them anyway. So it was like, Beautiful. They got the job.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of softness inside of that character that
there is.
Might be me, but also was something I was really trying to pursue. But yes, it's so funny because it's like trying to describe a dream when you're trying to look back at like what you did in a role. Yeah. You're like, it's all just like weird instincts, but at a certain point, they were just all mine. I felt really bad during a lot of the shoot because when you're improvising, you want to say yes and Rocky doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So I was basically going like, no, understand. And like throwing it back to Ryan when he had just done something beautiful.
Yeah.
At some point, Phil and Chris go in my ear and be like, what if Rocky understood that? And you're like, great, okay, thanks.
Okay.
But anyway.
For anyone out there who maybe feels foreign and alien within their life, and within a society that is obsessed with homogeneity, is that how we say it?
That's right.
Homogeneity or homogeneity? Homogeneity.
You know what? Now I can't think of anything else.
We live within a homogeneous
society. We live in a society.
That's homogeneous. What would you say to people who feel foreign and alien from that?
I think the worst thing that you can do is worry about being cringe. I think the worst thing you can do is worry that other people are judging you because, by the way, they will, but they already forgot. And also, they're not that concerned with you because guess what? They're horrified of other people judging them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like what you like. Be a nerd about Batman Forever. Be a dork about it makes your life worth living when you're not trying to seek approval from people that you don't even know. Mm-hmm. But if you are seeking out anything that smells of the authenticity that you're trying to chase, then it seems like it's worth your time, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, there's actually the superpower inside of feeling alien is admitting that you might be an alien. That you might be a weirdo.
Yeah.
And it's okay. As long as you're not like a creep and a weirdo, that's fine.
Yeah, regular.
Be
Radiohead. I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, and on that, our last thing, could you, in the voice of Rocky, tell us what your perfect night out in New York looks like?
Oh, great. Rocky, big fan of Manhattan. Rocky, big fan of roll to left, roll to right, then up, down, left. Then 135th, and then all the way down to 45th. Long way, too fast, no understand. Then Rocky no like subway, too loud, no good. Manhattan nice question?
Brilliant.
Sort of the whole thing.
Love
Brilliant.
that.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Guys, thanks so much for having me.
Thank
This
you.
was so sweet and weird.
dynamite.
Wonderful.
You have been a busy bee, and we are so honored that
Yeah.
you like took the time and had the availability to come join us because
sit in the mud.
Sit in the mud.
Oh yeah, mud babies.
Hell yeah.
Can you
Oh,
say
that
that in the
sounds
Rocky
awesome.
voice? Can you say, while others celebrate the wins, we celebrate the mud?
Well, it has to be in Rocky speak,
Rocky
so it's
speak,
going to be others celebrate win, Rocky celebrate mud.
Yes.
So
James
stupid.
Ortiz.
Go
What
see
a damn
Project Hail
delight.
Mary if you haven't yet. Read the book too. Phenomenal.
Oh my
Thanks,
God.
guys.
James, thank you so
You're
much
the
for being here.
best.
This was a dream.
We
You're a
adore
dream.
the crap out of you.
Adios.
All right, everyone, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. Amaze, amaze, amaze.
Amaze.